Well, hello, YouTube and Twitter and Ustream and Twitch. Thanks for joining us. Coda Radio is kicking off right now. Mr. Dominic is en route. We're probably going to do kind of a short episode because he's pretty busy today, so I'm glad you're here so you can get a little extra flavor. I was just going through the news. I see that President Biden is going to be meeting with President Xi soon. That's interesting. I also saw that inflation seems to be cooperating, as it does. As much as it does. But then I saw this news piece, like this package piece by CNBC. I don't know if YouTube, I probably should have played this before I started YouTube, but oops. The pitch is that the golden age of remote work is over. I haven't watched it yet, but I thought we could watch it together while we wait for Mr. Dominic to get en route. So pour yourself a cold one or a hot one, and let's go through this.
This is how corporate America feels about remote work in 2023.
The laptop class is living in La La Land. It's messed up to assume that yes, they have to go to work, but you don't. It's not just a productivity thing. I think it's morally wrong.
Listen, it doesn't work for young kids. It doesn't work for spontaneity. It doesn't really work for management.
And this is how the corporate world felt about remote work in 2020, during the height of COVID-19.
Hello.
Well,
hello
I
there.
think our access to large pools of talent who don't live around the big cities and aren't willing to move there.
Since we've all been forced into being remote now for 9 months.
I was just watching some best of CEOs hating on remote work. You know, just to kind of that's how I like to kill the time sometimes, is to watch a little claim chowder. It's always enjoyable to see whatever all these guys have been saying. See how that's been playing out for them. I need to start the old title bot too. Oh my goodness, I got all right. We got to get, if you're not in the chat room yet, please do get in the chat room. I'm starting the title bot right now. Coder 544. So get in there and help us bang suggest. Gonna drop mine in there to warm things up. Because I got a rant in me, probably, maybe. All right. I think I'm ready, although I should probably go powder the nose real quick. So it'll be like just 1 minute, and then I'll be ready to kick off. Okay? BRB.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Chat room, this is your chance to get in there. Coder.show/matrix to get in that chat room.
Development wants to update. My microphone stand does not want to stay up. I don't know why. I keep having this problem. Let's get... I feel like we've got some like Last of the Mohican stuff going on.
Yeah,
here.
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because it's the last of the chat room. There's like just nobody. When we move Monday, Tuesday, Monday. It's like nobody shows up anymore. You know, for years we deliver solid live streams, but they can't be bothered. Can't be bothered.
It's weird. It was stronger on Mondays. I don't know if that's more people are like working from home Monday. That's my.
I think it's and I think it's also just hurts moving it. Just in general, and it's just because of the schedule, you know. And then we weren't live last week, right? So it's moving it. Plus, we weren't. Yeah, we're doing like all the things, really. But it's still their fault.
Everything wrong.
It's still their fault. It's still, yeah. All right. Gets a little quiet. That's better. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. You know.
So the combination is...
All right.
Things that look...
All right, good. We got soundboard. All right. Excuse me. I'm a little dehydrated. I didn't drink much. Well, actually, I was just sick. And then I was driving and flying for 2-3 days straight, so I'm a little dehydrated. Mr. Dominic, jump in at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
All right, here we go. Ladies and gents, buckle up. It's coder time. This is Coda Radio, episode 544 for November 14th, 2023. Hey friend, welcome into Jupiter Broadcasting's weekly talk show, taking a pragmatic look at the art and the business of software development and the world of technology. My name is Chris, and joining us, it's our host, Mr. Dominic. Hello, Mike.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, good sir. It's nice to be back in the Pacific Northwest, in the studio. It's always tricky trying to do the job on the road when you're traveling. You always, at least me personally, overestimate how much time I'll be able to focus on work while traveling.
Well, and there's all those little contingencies when you're traveling, right? Those little, oops, something was late, or I gotta... I'm
also just like bad at guesstimating how much time I'm going to need while traveling to do the business stuff. Like, I'm pretty good at figuring, okay, I'm going to need time to do a show. I'm going to have to set that up. I'm going to have to prep that. Like, I'm pretty good at kind of visualizing and guessing the requirements for that. But then there's like I'm going to have to like run a business and respond to emails and like take care of things. And I'm going to do that for like a couple hours a day. And I just don't really budget for that very well. But I'm back now. I'm just slowly digging my way out. Just slowly. But, I don't think I got sick. I'm a little dehydrated. But I don't think I got sick. I mean, I was sick while I was there, but I mean, I don't think I got anything else.
Yeah. Nothing COVID-like.
Right, exactly. Now, just this morning, before we went live, a massive faux pas in the U.S. versus Google trial. Google's main economics expert literally let it slip. He wasn't supposed to, but he let it slip during his testimony that Google pays Apple 36% of the revenue earned from search ads via Safari.
That's right, kids. You thought 30% was bad. Meet its older, meaner, more roid-ragey brother at 36%.
And it could even be more, right? Maybe, because I think that number was a couple years old. But here's my only thought about this. Google's entire argument in this case is sort of predicated around, well, we're the best product. And people are choosing us, and we're dominant because we're the best. Not because we pay people. But then you look at how much they're paying, and like depending on when you look at the revenue, that is, maybe $80 billion. So if you're really the best in the world, then why do you got to pay Apple like, $80 billion or $30 billion or whatever it might be to keep your stranglehold on that? And is it actually true that if Apple were to switch to Bing, people would be happy enough, or DuckDuck? And is it not actually true that it's because their products are the best? Are you muted over there, or are you just thinking?
Totally muted and was talking. I think of it a little differently. This is just like the Google, Google primary colors flag on the just iron Thanos-like grip Apple has over iOS, right? It's like, if Google wasn't coughing up the money, Apple would just go to whoever would pay them.
In fact, it also came out that they paid Samsung a huge chunk to also have Samsung do the same thing and have Samsung start shipping Google Assistant as well. Another example where they just gave them a boatload of money just to make sure.
I feel like if you're Tim Sweeney, you're just sitting there being like, see, I told you that this is what's going on. Tim Sweeney, the CEO of Epic Games, who has, we can't call it I think we can call it a crusade at this point, right? He's on a crusade about just the Thanos-like grip that Apple and Google, and Apple in particular, have over their mobile platforms. I don't know, man. This seems like a lot.
It does. It, to me, kind of brings into question the whole, the product market is dominated by Google simply because the products are the best. I mean, when I think about it, Google Docs is pretty good, but I don't know if it's always been the best. Google Search is getting worse. I don't know. I'd like to know what the audience thinks. Boost in or coder.show/contact. Speaking of gaming, Matt from Alderon Games, he wrote in and said, hey guys, I have some thoughts about Mac gaming. I have some thoughts about the Mac being a hostile platform for developers. It's an issue I ran into, and I wanted to hear your thoughts. Here's a link to the thread. And so on the thread, Matt writes, Apple needs to stop breaking games and macOS operating system updates. Imagine writing code that works for a decade in macOS and then having an update throw an NS internal consistency exception. This is going to break thousands of Unreal and other games on Steam. Apparently, like the Apple crash. He says if you're going to break code that works in games that shipped previously, people will just stop supporting the Mac and delist their games and mark them Windows only. The Mac could be a great gaming platform, especially with the advancements in Apple Silicon. It just has a hostile software environment, which makes it hard for games. Man, like there's a lot of things you get into, like especially when it comes to the app signing requirements. Swapping binaries out, which is kind of impossible with the signing requirements. You have to get things re-notarized. It is. So then like they break something, you try to fix it. You can't really fix it very elegantly.
Well, and there's the whole deprecating or removing OpenGL situation. That's a huge problem. I mean, Metal is great, but Metal is Apple only, and it's just like always going to handicap it.
Man, I wonder if it feels hopeless, because to me it seems so hopeless. And the only light at the end of the tunnel is something like Proton, which is yet another stack on top of everything else.
Yeah, but not for the kind of games that they're shipping, right? So disclosure, right? I'm doing some contract work for Matt over at Alderaan, doing this very stuff, fighting with the Apple platforms. And a lot of the time and money they've spent with me has been their automated building stuff that works for every other platform, from the Xbox to the Nintendo, magically fails on iOS because Xcode got an update, and the update was basically forced on you. You don't have too many choices. Xcode has no good... I mean, so this is a stupid problem, right? So because I'm working on the Apple stuff, I work on Mac, right, which makes sense. Except Xcode just vomits on syntax highlighting for the Unreal code. So I'm back in like 1992 over here. And literally, and the game is so big to compile, I will make a mistake like misremembering an API or just a typo even. And I have to wait for it to rebuild onto my iPad and be like, and then it's like, oh yeah, you like added an extra S there. It's that level of crap.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I definitely got a little bit of a gentle teasing from the folks working in Visual Studio over there. Because Visual Studio supports it, and it like knows what the APIs are, and it will complete them like you would think any rational editor would.
To me, this seems like the consequences of what has been Apple's greatest strength. Their cohesive platform.
So
if you buy a Mac, you build for iOS, you build and publish through the App Store, and you use their Apple payment system, and it all works really well. But then if you want to do something that's outside that really tight ecosystem, it's just edge cases all the way down. And gaming is, by its very nature, cross-platform, cross-device, and outside that ecosystem. And Apple has built themselves a fantastic kingdom that just, from the way you develop, from the way they ship updates, from the way you make revenue, it's just not compatible with gaming. I don't see a solution. Not through Apple. Maybe through Steam and other mechanisms, but not through Apple.
See, I hope you're wrong, because it's really a damn shame, right? Like the iPad in particular is such a really ideal gaming platform, especially for your strategy or your simulation games, that having it just like be a pain in the butt is not... It's just not good.
And take this to the Vision Pro. How does a $3,000 Vision Pro headset ever become successful if you don't have some good games on there?
I mean, unless you're Marco, you're not buying it. I don't know. I feel like that one's just whatever.
Well then, head on over to Tailscale, tailscale.com/coder. You get up to 100 devices for free. It's not a limited time thing. And you support the show. It's tailscale.com/coder. Go right now. Go support the show. Go ahead. Well, it's being described as a eulogy for coding, which the author has always felt was like an endlessly deep and rich domain. But after ChatGPT swallowed knowledge and skills that take a lifetime to master, it is coming to an end, my friends. Now, the author it's a piece on the New Yorker we'll link to, if they let you read it. They were initially very skeptical about AI. They started, though, observing some of their newer colleagues using the tooling to complete projects and having success. So the author sat down, got himself a subscription, got GPT-4 going, and started using it for coding tasks. And as they put it, saw a, quote, transformative impact. And he's an expectant parent, and he's thinking about this and the recent OpenAI Day announcements where you just tell ChatGPT to go build you a GPT. And he is expressing a lot of concern that kids won't want to learn to program. They'll just want to use this next level of abstraction going forward. And that he's concerned that the actual skill of coding is going to be diminished in value by the time his coming kid is old enough. And I had a similar thought when it comes to computers. When I was in high school, by like my freshman year, I had built 2 of my own PCs, and I'd taken apart my dad's computer a couple of times. A lot of people used to build PCs. It was very common. These days, it's pretty much a solved problem, and if you buy a pre-made computer, it's probably built better than you're going to build it. Some people still do, but not really anymore. And my kids don't really have any interest in learning how the iPad is built. They are very good at manipulating the software. I'd say they're experts at using the software and the iPad, and they enjoy building things using the iPad. But they're not interested in how the iPad's built, and they're not looking at building a computer at all. They're just not. It's not even on their register. They're not even at that. They're just a whole layer of abstraction above that now. And this author over at the New Yorker kind of postulates that the same thing will happen with software development.
Yeah, I mean,
not so much with like you and I and people out in the workforce today, but more like people that are entering school in the next few years.
well, it's gonna change, right? And it has changed. If we go back to, the 70s or 60s, what software development was, it was wildly different than what we're doing now, in terms of just the tooling and the automation and like. I got to tell you, it sounds silly, but my example of working in Unreal on Xcode, life without IntelliSense and auto-completion is very, very hard. It's just bad, right? I end up like using other editors and switching back to Xcode. And I'm sure that we could possibly resurrect a developer from the 60s, and he would tell us that, I'm a baby and that's like a crutch. Which is probably how a lot of, I think, people our age feel about ChatGPT today. I don't necessarily feel that way. Because I use it, right? I've used it for a number of things, and I got to tell you, it's not like there's a lot of hype here. It's not gonna. Certainly, our generation is safe, and I think, let's say, our children's generation.
You think his position is, yeah, it's kind of not great today, but with the way things are going, you can start to see how maybe 5-10 years, honestly, like say when somebody who's born today is going into high school, around that time, this tooling's actually probably going to be pretty great. And it'll be like in Star Trek, when they go make a holodeck program, they don't tell the computer how to make a program. They just describe to the computer what holodeck program they want, and it creates it.
I think we're, other than like trivial examples that hipsters are going to blog about, I think we're pretty far from that. I think 10 years is wildly optimistic.
Maybe, yeah.
Remember, every advancement in computing, like let's look at our old pal Brian Lunduke did a series about 2 years ago about how bloated just standard web pages are now, right? How much memory I think, what did he go to, like CNN.com, and it's just like how much crap it has to load. And yeah, that's what we do, right? We get the more powerful hardware and we waste it on bullshit like ad networks. And my Slack is open in the background here, and someone in Slack sent me an animated Giphy of a penguin with a wizard hat, and some text going through what looks like a terminal saying, "To hell with it, let ChatGPT do it." That's using memory on my machine right now.
Yeah.
Right? Just in the background.
Yeah.
I have Amazon open in a different tab. I'm sure Amazon is.
What if we put some AI in your Electron app that could notice when you're idle and auto-suspend stuff, right? There we go.
Oh, that's not going to be a problem. Yeah, we're always going to want to build more things with technology. Now, does programming start to evolve into something slightly more abstract? Sure. But again, I'm going back to my gentleman from the 60s. We've been doing that since the beginning, right? We're not using punch cards. We're not using, look at what like OGC looks like compared to what modern C or C looks like. We have a lot of abstractions, right? Even, people like to dunk on C++, but if you do like nice modern C++, it's actually like really abstract and really nice and very reasonable in terms of just like reading it and understanding it. And that's like the natural trend that's not going to change. And yeah, I mean, I will be the first if it starts to threaten me to say, oh, these damn kids, because I'm, a hypocrite. But I don't think we should pretend like this is anything different than the natural evolution that we've been doing for generations now of abstracting away the mathematical minutia and dealing more with concepts. And remember that was the dream of object-oriented programming, right? You're just going to deal with objects as an abstraction, and that's it's fine. It's just what it is. It's where we're going.
Oh, Alderon.game/coder. If you're looking for a great remote job, go check them out. We'll have a link in the show notes too for the published version. Can you hear the air leaking from the App Store ecosystem? Hashtag OpenAI Dev Day, tweets Malik. The hype was real. Other people quickly tweeted, or Weapon X'd, I'm not sure. You're soon gonna get paid to make GPTs. That's right. It was OpenAI Day, and everybody's good buddy Sam Altman was up there doing the old live keynote, the old school live demonstration keynote. Announced an expansion of services and features and the ability to build your own GPTs and then sell them through a custom GPT store.
Because who doesn't want to be Uncle Tim?
It looks like you're going to need tens of millions of subscribers before you're going to really see any kind of actual money coming in. So somebody was doing the math on X and figured out it's not going to be like making a ton of money. But in theory, somebody could make some sort of custom GPT, put it in their store, and could get a bunch of users and just start raking in the money. There's also going to be an assistance API. That's going to be interesting, a new API for simple use cases. I don't know, man. Actually, I am a little skeptical of OpenAI and Sam Altman, of course, but I actually kind of look at this and think they're really building out the services. They're really building out like the back-end services for people to white label. And essentially they are the AI as a service, and it's kind of almost perfect for people to come along and build products on top of that are like focused for a particular customer.
Well, this is, if you remember about a month or two ago, this was our prediction that the way forward for OpenAI is really to be the Levi's corporation selling jeans to the gold miners. Don't be the end result, right? Don't be ChatGPT. I have a feeling folks using it like, we've used it, and we talk about going to OpenAI whatever their actual URL is.
Chat.openai.
And chatting, right, is going to be probably in 3 to 5 years. Their secondary business.
Oh, I think sooner than that.
Yeah, the real business is, I'm going to help you spin up a really specific chatbot for your company, and there you go. That makes a lot of sense. That gives them some insulation because there is an explosion, right? I don't think we have it in the notes, but apparently Elon released Grok.
Yep. I'll slip a little link in there. We got Grok, which is their. It's funny if you're sensitive, don't use Grok! ! Hee hee. It's got kind of that vibe going.
It's, I don't know, but it's everybody on the Reddit, Google's got Bard, right?
Yeah.
And Microsoft is weirdly married to ChatGPT and all kinds.
Well, you
of
know what I discovered when I was in El Salvador is communities, big and small, are building their own large language models for their community. Like the Bitcoin community's working on one. There's a guy that's working on one for the El Salvador community. It's just focused specifically on them, that gives them the answers they want with the political bias that they want. Like, that's really what it comes down to when I talk to these guys, is they don't like the answers they're getting. They want different answers with a different political bias, and so they're going to build one for themselves that has the bias that the local population wants, be it online community or in a country. So there's a market for you.
Yeah. Go for it, Sammy boy.
Yeah.
You know, this just makes sense, right? I mean, teasing aside, this is a very shrewd, very wise business decision. This is probably how they're going to make their fortune.
Yeah.
Until Microsoft eventually just acquires them. So.
Yeah, until Microsoft makes it as easy as making like an Access database or a spreadsheet, right? That's
the real sad thing is Microsoft was so close to this. I know I got a lot of flack for it like 3 or 4 years ago when I was talking about the Lewis bot engine from. It was the Lewis language engine and the Microsoft bot framework together, and it was basically we will start you with what we would now call a large language model, and we'll start you with the basic like skeleton of a bot. And you can put your own logic in it, your own vocabulary, recognition, stuff like that. They were so close. They just couldn't. It's so funny to me how. I mean, someone's nose has to be a little bent out of shape over there because I was watching the Dev Days things from ChatGPT or from OpenAI rather, and I'm like, Microsoft did this years ago. And like I know because the first version of Alice was written on the bot framework, and it's it's just wild how.
Isn't it fascinating how they missed it again? They missed the internet, they missed mobile, but they were also kind of early to a lot of networking stuff. They were also very early to mobile devices, but they also missed it at the same time.
They're really bad. I mean this with love. They're super bad at partnering with small ISVs.
Yeah, and I think. Apple think about this for a moment. I don't think we've appreciated how bad Apple blew it. Like we saw Gurman's reporting that the executives are scrambling to come up with some sort of language model Siri alternative or something. And you've commented on how Apple was very early with Siri. They were the first with a voice assistant. They were very early there. But one thing we haven't really considered or appreciated is when you go to deploy one of these self-hosted large language models that you can run locally, almost universally now, they all have optimized builds for the M-series platform. And they almost always show that the M-series platform is performing above most of the average systems out there, if not some of the nicer systems. And like you can just go look at Llama GPT. Really easy way to get Llama 2 locally with a chat interface. They got a build specifically now for the Mac. This isn't how things used to be, friends. Back in the day, it was Linux and Windows, maybe, for this kind of web server-side stuff. But now, with the neural processors, people are aping into the Mac to run these workloads. Apple built the neural processors into their M-series chip starting years ago. They saw a certain type of workload coming. In fact, when they announced the M1 and talked about these neural CPUs, a lot of us were like, I wonder what people are going to use that for. They'll probably find something. And now they're using the hell out of them. Apple had Siri. They had neural processors. They had Siri. And yet they still missed the large language model craze. And now, as Gurman reports, are scrambling to come up with something. I mean, Microsoft missed it. Google was working on it, but they didn't execute on time, so they kind of missed it. And Apple, even though Apple saw Siri, they saw the neural processor use case, all of that, they still missed it. They all missed it. These big, rich companies with all these smart people that are so well paid, that live in beautiful homes and have all these cars and all these toys, that are all paid to be experts, they all missed it.
Yeah. I mean, they missed it. They marketed it badly. They didn't take advantage of the. In Apple's case, it's hard to really ding them so hard when they're like, we have more money than God and we don't care anymore.
Yeah, well,
right? Which I think.
Right, yeah.
But Microsoft's case, like, it's super painful, right? It's really like I have to tell you, I got a bit of flack for liking the Microsoft bot framework. Let me tell you something. That was a great API to work with. It was straightforward. Oh, I know.
Back in the day, good API. Yeah. Boy, there's so many products. We could do an episode of things Microsoft got right and then pulled back on and then had to come back and be the underdog on forever.
There were like a few stupid things in the API, which I'm taking a tangent here. But for instance, the Python and Node.js versions were weirdly better than the .NET version because this is when they were like, we love Linux, and they were trying to be like, whatever. To the point where I think there's an old blog post of me rewriting Alice in JavaScript just to use the other API. But I got to tell you, they had prefabbed, and we're going back years here. They had like prefabbed boxes that would intelligently reformat themselves for like Slack and Teams. And you just had to basically give it a JSON description of what it should look like and what the options or the buttons or whatever you wanted it were, and you know your design scheme, and it would just apply it on the fly and look really nice.
What a concept!
So,
what a concept!
And it got no respect. Now part of it is they did the Microsoft thing. They tied it to freaking Azure, right?
Yeah, probably at the time we're trying to integrate into Skype or something.
It did have a Skype integration you could do. Yeah, it was like it had that Microsoft strategy tax of, well, every team gets a vote on the feature set here, and they all want their thing. They all want their logo on it. But if you just treated it as like the base framework with the Lewis language engine, it was honestly like it's exactly what ChatGPT or OpenAI is offering developers today. But I would say even easier because Microsoft went through the trouble of like doing the tutorials, building in a Visual Studio Code extension right when VS Code came out, so that VS Code could be like, give you intelligent endings to things and have it make sense. Full TypeScript support, like, and it's a little sad to me that like I feel like sometimes we like to bash on them, but they do such good work on the like I'm a company building tools for developers side of things. And the minute the PMs get involved, it just seems to go to hell, or maybe it's the VPs, right? It just seems to get just shellacked.
Yeah.
And it's over.
And I wonder if is it the market doesn't want these solutions from Microsoft? Is it maybe the audience could boost in and tell us? Is it that they don't want these solutions from Microsoft? Is it that the Microsoft strategy taxes that kind of encumber these things make them unappealing? And Microsoft hasn't always had like the most open account system. But I think we could probably hear, I'd love a few examples, but I think we could cite a few examples of where they were early and then where they kind of capitulated. Like, I mean, this is just a random example, and I'd love people to boost in more. Remember how they had Encarta? And they were like the Wikipedia for a while of the world. And they could have brought that into the online space and done some sort of system that was online collaborative editing. And they could have owned the world's encyclopedia, but they just sort of blew that. Even though they did it when it was really, really hard and you had to like go out and actually do the work and pay people to do the work and then like put it together in an application and ship it on a bunch of disks.
Well, remember Mind Maze, which was the game inside of Encarta that is a full featured game where you're in a labyrinth, like, and it's just quizzing you on like, it's basically like more evil Carmen San Diego in there quizzing you on like, so when King Henry VIII was first married, what was his wife's name?
We need to crowdsource as many examples of where Microsoft was early, missed the mark, and then the market came around to the idea and they had to like...
You ready? I'm going to blow your mind.
Okay, give me another one. And there's plenty, so give me another one.
All right. Apple made such a little fuss, and so did Google a year ago, about lock screen widgets or phone widgets. That was the entire concept of Windows Phone 7 and more so 8.
I'm going to agree.
Yeah.
That was the entire thing. And maybe arguably better done and well more supported by the
I got to
OS.
tell you, I had that HTC Windows Phone 8 phone, the purple one. Say what you want. I never had that thing die on me. That baby's battery life rivals my iPhone 14, right? It's because you know what? Wow. They're like, why do you need all these flashy animations and pictures when all you care about is the data? You want to glance at your phone and get back to your life. They were like ahead of that, right? There's a whole movement now of like people blogging about disconnecting from your phone. Don't be on Instagram all day. Microsoft was like, don't worry, we're not even going to have Instagram. I think they eventually paid Instagram to get on there. Oh my gosh,
they had to. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
That was the thing, was no apps. That was the thing.
I still want my $40,000 back.
Well, I want to say thank you to our members. If you'd like to support the show directly and get an ad-free version of the show, it's coderqa.co. And then each quarter we give you a quarterly as a thank you. But really, it's a fantastic way to kind of help orient the show towards our largest customer, and we want our largest customer always to be the audience. That's kind of not only just great from a business incentive standpoint, which I don't have to explain to you, but it's also nice it gives us independence from any one particular sponsor. And as the market continues to look pretty frosty, those memberships are more and more valuable than ever. CoderQA.co. And also thank you to our boosters out there. If you want to boost in, just get a podcast app at podcastapps.com. Podverse is GPL and cross-platform, really nice. Fountain FM streams USATs as you listen and has a really cool discovery mechanism. Cast-O-Matic is great on iOS. And PodFans is a brand new progressive web app that also supports offline. It's doing a whole bunch of new features. But if you don't want to switch apps, I understand. Keep your podcast app. Just get Albi at getalbi.com. You top it off either using the app directly or something else on the Lightning Network, like the Cash app or something. And then you can find our entry on the podcast index and boost from the webpage. And you don't have to switch apps. And we'll have links to that in the show notes.
Ask not what your podcast can boost for you, but what you can boost for your podcast.
And the handsome Mick Zip comes in with 50,000 sats. Our baller this week. He's using Cast-O-Matic. He writes, you mentioned there still being Coder robes available. It reminded me somewhere in Minneapolis, a porch pirate has their very own Coder robe. I hope they enjoy it. He says, I reordered, and I've been enjoying mine for a while. So that's good. I guess he got another robe. Boy, that stinks that he had one stolen. He says, thanks to Michael, yeah. I'm referring to Twitter now as Weapon X, and people around me are confused. Oh, well, what can you do?
But the few people that get the joke, it's going to be really good.
Well, and you got to keep it up.
You got to keep it up. Weapon X.
Yeah, you just spread it. It's an organic thing, and I think it's a nod to how ridiculous the entire thing is. A friend of 55 comes in with a row of McDucks.
Things are looking up for old McDuck.
Using Fountain, he writes, you guys might have a bad take on Nostr. I've been getting a lot of value out of it, and someone recently built up a meetup.com killer that can show you all the events your friends are going to. It's called Flockster, FLOCSTR.com. Just a small glimpse into the future of interconnected apps on this protocol. Flockster. Yeah, okay. I actually think what I'm kind of more excited about with Nostr isn't so much a Twitter replacement, although I know people continue to use the hell out of it for that, but it would be more for like this type of stuff, a meetup.com replacement, a Craigslist replacement that is decentralized, and maybe you do have an identity that you can establish on Nostr that you can use across Flockster, you could use it across the Craigslist alternative, and you could use it on social media if you want. It's sort of a decentralized identity provider as well. That kind of stuff, I think, is actually a lot of potential. Have you heard much about Nostr in the last, 5 months? Not really, right?
No, only from you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So you tell me, Mr. 55, I don't know. I'd like to see that kind of stuff getting developed, but now let's see it scale and let's see people start using it. I'm all about it if it takes off. Kernbug comes in with Spaceballs boost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sats.
So the combination is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the stupidest combination I ever heard in my life.
Thank you for the boost. I do love that one. Purple Dog comes in with 5,000 sats. I tried to write a UK perspective on the online safety bill and why I think no one seems to care, but it's so depressing to articulate my thoughts succinctly, which I think is kind of the point. Everyone I know is numb to politics and years of blatant corruption and contempt from politicians. Oh,
I kind of want that on a throw pillow.
That's the worst. That's the worst possible explanation as to why nobody cares about that horrible bill passing.
We're like dogs who've been beaten just so savagely.
I mean, it's
we
really
can't even get up anymore.
It's getting there, right? Like, I think we still haven't caught a breath from COVID. I think is the problem, and people have just been completely shell shocked.
Oh God, yeah, this is. Yeah.
My mom and I gotta have like this conversation where like we don't ever see each other anymore because it's like we're so busy. I memean, you wouldn't believe what I have done in the last 48 hours. Like you wouldn't believe it. Like it's impossible when I think back on it. I mean, it's just really remarkable, and life just gets so crazy busy. especially when you try to run your own business and have kids. Woof. I can understand that the people just kind of get burned out on trying to follow it all.
Yep.
The gig comes in with a row of ducks. Get ready for the claims that AI is a public utility, so it has to be regulated. Noster and freedom of speech will win.
So half of that is correct. So did anybody clip my my thing I asked for an element of Magneto, Mr. Eric Lencher, saying, we've heard these debates before, Charles.
I don't think we do need that. No, give them a good clear one right here so they can clip it for you.
We've heard these debates before, Charles. Oh, God, I forgot the second line. Is it time and again?
Well, that's fine right there. We've heard these debates before, Charles, is enough.
Right, this is the same thing. By the way, I have a couple emails on LinkedIn telling me I'm wrong about the developer certification stuff. A battle that I think we fought in 2012, 14, 16, it's like every 2 years, basically. Because that's, I'm telling you, just go ahead and watch the X-Men with Captain Jean-Luc Picard and Gandalf. Just like the opening scene, right? Like where they're in the Senate and that whole hallway fight. That's exactly what this is all about.
Now this next one, I think this is a troll, but I'm going to give it my best. Tahurgumba boosts in with 1,085 sats. I just wanted to say I was trying to get a membership, but right before I pulled the trigger, I got laid off. So here's some sats that I've earned via Fountain. Hopefully I'll get through with times are tight. Yes, hopefully, and you can keep on listening. And thank you for the boost.
And also, do check that Coder Jobs channel.
Yeah. Well, there's also Alderon.
Oh, true.
Alderon.game/coder. Go get a job over there. There's the jobs chat channel in our Matrix room, which is always going, and you can always fish around in there too. And then a shout out to Dave Jones, who sends in 10,000 sats automatically each week. Boom. Thank you, Dave. We stacked 103,924 sats with 8 boosters. Thank you, everybody who supported that production.
Things are looking up for old McDuck.
Oh, nope, not yet. I want to play a special song for you guys. Hold on.
Oh, no.
No, it's just a little extended extra. Here we go. Here we go. I'll do it nice and tight for you, Drew. Thank you, everybody who boosted. And we had 8 boosters, and we stacked 103,924 sats. Can we get to 150 next week? Boost in, support the show. Let's find out. And again, shout out to the members, too, who support each production automatically. Mr. Dominic, is there anywhere you want to send the good people before we scoot?
Yeah, I guess you can find me at Dumanuko on Weapon X.
I don't tweet much, but if you want to tweet at me, I'm over there too at Chris.
No, you don't tweet at all. You X.
Not much. Although I did while I was in San Salvador, tweet a quick time lapse of the sunrise from the balcony of the Airbnb apartment.
I don't see your tweets anymore. There's something weird going on.
Oh, it's because you and I aren't blue checkers, right? So we probably don't get any traction.
Oh,
it's probably how that works, man. It's pretty. It's bad.
Maybe I did. Yeah, I think I might have turned the subscription off. That makes sense. Okay.
Woo! That's fine. I didn't want you to see it anyways.
No sunset for you.
Yeah. All right. Links to what we talked about today are coder.show/544. You'll also find our RSS feed links over there, the contact form. We love your feedback. That's a big part of the show. And why don't you join us live? We kind of bounce in between Mondays and Tuesdays, nominally on Mondays, though. You can find it at jupiterbroadcasting.com/calendar, and the stream's over jblive.tv. But heck, I'm just glad you download and listen. If you feel like it was a good one, share it with somebody. Let them know you liked it. That's always a nice thing for the pod. Nice thing for the pod. All right. Thanks so much for joining us. See you next week. Thank you, Drew.
So I was going to say this on the air, but I think it's too deep for our less dedicated listeners.
Oh yeah, okay. Give it to the livers only. Yeah.
I had a crazy epiphany last night.
Whoa. Hold on.
Oh my God.
What?
Yeah. People like you and me are going to be like the oh my God, I forgot their name. I literally just had I think I just took a small stroke. Oh my God.
Oh no.
Oh God! Wait! Oh yes, I'm back. The techno mages from Babylon 5. By the way, the main actor who plays the one that like actually explains everything is the same dude who plays Mr. Freeze.
5 techno. Oh, really?
Yep.
Babylon 5 techno mage. I'm going to get an AI generated explanation by Googs. In Babylon 5, a techno mage is a member of a secret organization that uses technology to mimic magic. Techno mage uses technological implants to create energy projections and illusions. Whoa, cool. Okay, all right.
So the plot, spoilers for something from 1997, guys. The plot is the weird pseudo, governments of the galaxy are like, hey, we want to like be able to use you guys and control what you can do. And they're like, or we're just going to fuck off to where you can't find us. And good luck with that whole war you've got going on. That seems bad. Bye. And the last thing he does is like obviously the very handsome captain of Babylon 5 who's like, don't leave. I'm sorry that my government's a bunch of dicks. He's like, you mentioned orange blossoms. Let me use my weird techno magic to make you one. And now I'm leaving. Good luck.
And we're going to peace out? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. And we're all going to sound like Mr. Freeze, which is actually the upside for us.
Oh, okay. All right.
And it's Mr. Freeze from the Kevin Conroy Batman. So it's like, ready? Think of it, Alan Jude. World with only BSD.
Oh, don't tempt him.
He's like, that's heaven. I'm in.
Yeah, don't tempt him. He'll do it.
Oh, God, we have suggestions.
Yeah, they're not great.
They are not good at all. Oops, you mentioned a few of them.
Yeah,
Sorry,
well,
guys.
no. I mean, I was just throwing it in there. I was just throwing them out there. They're not good. I admit it. They're not good.
Oh, God. Pace the world. Okay.
The pace generation? No.
I feel like we could label like every other episode I miss that API. It's just me lamenting, writing a ballad about Objective-C. Oh my lord. Get off my API is not bad. Are people voting? Is democracy working?
I don't think so.
Never does.
Pretty low, minimal votes. I was trying it with the Ctrl+V generation. I was trying to go with something to do with like the kids are just going to use AI generated code, but yeah. I don't got really nothing.
How about... Wait.
All right, what do you got?
There's that stupid meme. The Simpsons did it. We should do like Microsoft did it.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that's the vein. Right. What is that?
What's the exact
Microsoft
meme,
did
though?
it first. Something like that.
Microsoft did it. MS did it first. That's what we should do.
MS did it first? Microsoft. Is that already a meme, Microsoft?
Well, there's the Simpsons ones, right? That they mock Family Guy with. Simpsons did it.
Is that what is the Simpsons? The Simpsons already did it. Microsoft already did it. How about that?
Love it. See, this is like, I just want to explain my little civics class for you guys. You guys voted, and the Electoral College sat down.
Yep.
It was like, no.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. By the way, my Facebook has already become a battleground.
Uh-oh.
Yes, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so you live in Florida.
Yes.
You know, it's Florida. But my Florida friends and my New Jersey friends have accidentally friended each other over time. And oh yes, the donkeys are charging headlong into the elephants.
Oh no. These two are not compatible. These two breeds are not compatible.
So I'm actually I'm trying to get OpenAI's image tool to make me a new party logo with a gator.
Okay.
And we're just going to elect Florida Man as the president.
You could have a good shot at that.
Listen, free beer for everybody and no laws.
I like this platform. I'm moving in.
You would love
See,
Florida.
You can already
You might never leave. You can't come because you would never leave.
Well, you could claim then that you're incentivizing a small business investment.
How comfortable are you riding on the back of a reptile with no shirt on?
I could learn if the tax structure is...
the tax structure is very favorable.
I can learn. I can live with it.
Amazing. All right, Chris. Are we
Mr. Dominic.
normal time next week?
Yeah, you want to do it on Monday? Is that normal time Monday? Yeah?
Sure.
Monday at noon or 3 your time? Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right, guys. I'm losing my breath.
Don't
so
die.
Talk to you later.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, chat room. Thank you, live streamers. Appreciate you being here. Always like hanging out with you. I'm going to skedaddle now. We'll have self-hosted later this week. And, of course, Linux Unplugged is going to be on Saturday, not Sunday this weekend. We're doing a special day early, Saturday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for being here.